Youth of Purpose.
Hello, welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to give you a platform as young people to be able to contribute to what is happening in your country, speak to the government, be heard, and also be able to learn from each other. Now we want to learn today how us as young people can help ourselves to be able to grow economically, socially, but also bring out the potential in us. Today, we're going to be looking at something of very great importance as far as your development is concerned as young people. And we want to look at what the government is doing to empower us as the young people through the parish development model. And with me today, I have Bernard Odoi, the Youth MP for Eastern Uganda. He's going to be helping us to understand the parish development model and how us as the young people can benefit from it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother.
Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Hello, how are you, viewers? It's a great opportunity to interface with you, equally a young person who falls within my electoral college, my constituency. What an opportunity to share with the country, with the young people of this country.
Amazing.
The plight of our future, starting from now.
Amazing. Bernard, I'm grateful talking to you. And the young people are so much excited back in the villages and also here in town because of the parish development model. But do they even understand what the parish development model entails? Kindly help us to break down the parish development model.
Well, thank you. I want to believe that it is our task, it's our role, it's our duty as leaders, and also allow me salute you as a media person, that this is an opportunity for us to share and break down to the young people what this animal PDM is. Parish Development Model is a project that has been brought by government. It's a vehicle that government is using to jumpstart the economy of this country, to address the plight of the majority of Ugandans who are engaged in subsistence agriculture. PDM is a program that has come to help our people in the grassroots. Government has been having so many other projects, but this is the first project that government has taken down to the ordinary person at the parish level. So parish development model, in simple terms, is a vehicle that government has brought in each and every parish of this country to try and help our people come out from subsistence farming and enter into the money economy with focus on agriculture. The focus is to have commercial aspect of agriculture. Our people have been engaged in agriculture, but in a subsistence way. You go to the garden, tilt the land normally using a handheld hose, harvest something for only your consumption, not even enough for consumption. That's why we've been having famine across the country. But then this project, initially it had a budget of 18 million per parish, but during our conversation as NRM caucus, we agreed, and it was passed in the caucus, that 100 million would be sufficient. I want to salute the president that he okayed the same. And as parliament, we passed the budget. Across the country, we have over 10,000 parishes. I want to assure our young people and listeners that each and every parish of this country is going to receive 100 million.
Not 18. Amazing. So, first of all, like you have said, many people take PDM to be an agricultural kind of approach of empowering Ugandans. Is it so much about agriculture? Because as I was checking out and reading out what the PDM is all about, it's a bit so broad, but all we hear when people are being sensitized is about agriculture. I've heard about infrastructure development, putting systems in place that are going to uplift the population. But also there is an issue to do with mindset change.
Yes, sure.
All that is into the parish development model, but when sensitization is being done, all we hear about is agriculture. Can you help us to bring out all the other aspects that are contained in the parish development model?
Thank you so much. The focus is actually agriculture. Now, but the tools, you can't realize commercial agriculture when the infrastructure to do with roads are not in place. You can't realize commercial agriculture when the mindset of the people has not been broadened to address the demand of the day. So the focus of PDM is entirely agriculture. The bias of infrastructure, mindset change is to help prepare our people. We know of so many areas where our people engage in agriculture, make good harvests, but because of the bad roads, because of the poor infrastructure, they cannot easily get to the market. That is why government has come with an approach to address the issue of infrastructure. If you have good roads and people are engaged in commercial agriculture, then you have access to the best prices. They also have access to use the good infrastructure to go and buy better seedlings, to go and buy fertilizer, because if you're talking of commercial agriculture, then you need the modern ways of practice. You cannot only rely on the forces of nature that let me wait. If God brings the rain, then I will plant. If we are talking of modern agriculture, you have to have good roads. You have to train people on irrigation mechanism. That is part of the infrastructure, the tools that are needed for this. Uganda actually is the food basket of the Great Lakes region. If you go to southern Sudan, if you go to the borders of Elegu, you find that hundreds of trucks from this country carrying our produce, carrying our food, taking to Sudan. There's a huge market. If you go to DRC, our good neighbors and the new entrant to East African community.
Majorly it's food products that we're exporting.
Yes, so we have a huge market. We need to just prepare our people in the mind. We need to prepare the infrastructure and also support our people to get into the commercial production.
I get you right, Bernard. You see, when you talk about agriculture being the backbone of this country's economy, and we all know that much of our population really survives on agriculture. We call it subsistence.
Yes.
But that's how we've survived. At least they have what to eat. My question that keeps coming into my mind is, why don't you then put much focus on agriculture? And when you're allocating the budget, you as members of parliament, I haven't seen how much you're advocating for agriculture to get a big share of the budget. Why?
I want to inform the country at large that this current budget of 2020 to 2023 actually addresses that. A huge budget of this financial year is focused on PDM. Government has collapsed most of all the other activities, including YLWP, the Women Fund, all the other interventions have been collapsed.
What percentage is going to agriculture?
We, in simple terms, I want us to address this in simple terms for everyone to understand that 100 million Uganda shillings is going to each parish of this country.
And
we have over 10,000 parishes in this country. So simple mathematics, if you multiply...
A total of 1 trillion has been allocated to PDM.
Yes. Now that's a huge budget with focus on agriculture, because we've agreed that PDM, by and large, 70% is agriculture. The other 30% is to help polish the mind, prepare the infrastructure, tools of trade, and support technically our people. So this financial year, the 11th Parliament has done their best to ensure that 1 trillion shilling of the budget is focusing on agriculture at the parish level.
As a member of Parliament, good thing you're representing the young people. I understand you go to the ground and you're so much connected to the reality on ground. Is the problem that Ugandan farmers are facing right now money for them to transform themselves?
Well, I want to agree to that notion, that to a larger extent, our people have been engaged on what the president calls a chida chonka, from the garden to the mouth, and that is all. One, because there has not been easy access to funds, easy access to fertilizers, so the government has come in at the right time with an intervention that our people must be trained to live from a chida chonka to the money economy.
What I want to understand is that all those things you're talking about are helping people to be able, for example, to test the soil before they do plant a given crop, the fertilizers, them being able to know what kind of fertilizers to use and how to get them.
The right seeds, seedlings.
Right seedlings, the issue of irrigation. I want to understand, before this money is disbursed, have you been able to make sure that all that is in place?
One, it's a work in progress. Before the PDM came in, we did not have the parish chiefs across the country. In the last financial year, Parliament availed funds, and there was recruitment of the parish chiefs across the country. We have seen adverts, we've seen, but money has been budgeted for recruitment of extension workers. It is now our task as leaders. The last 2 weeks we've been in the field. We moved across our regions. I moved across Eastern region. My colleagues also moved across the countryside. One, to ensure we sensitize our people on what is expected of them, what government is going to do, so that we reach at consensus at IDEM. They must do their part, government must do their part. Ours as leaders is to ensure funds is availed, the budget has already passed. Two, money which is availed for a particular parish must benefit the intended persons. I can give you an example of YLWP. This project was a good one to support the young people. But most of our young people, because of poor sensitization, there was lack of information. People would be bribed. The youth leaders would be bribed. They would sign documents for even projects that they did not know. And so money, you would find the people who were okay, they create pseudo companies and youth groups, and the money end up into the wrong hands. In this PDM, as Parliament, as youth MPs, we deliberated on this and ensured that out of the 7-member committee in every parish, there is a representation of the young people. This person is the parish chairperson who was democratically elected and sits on that committee. We shall hold them accountable because we have discussed this and agreed 30% must be for the young people.
Exactly, that's what I was coming to. Of the 1 trillion, how much is in there for the young people?
Okay.
Yes.
You know, when you speak of 1 trillion,
Yes.
it is, it shouts...
In terms of percentage?
Yes, okay.
Yes.
We, at a policy level at Parliament, we demanded, and this was passed, that 30%, and I call upon the young people across the country, the leaders, even if you're not a leader, but you're a young person, I want to call upon your effort. I want to call you to order that let's ensure that the 30% that we have pushed as Parliament, as your representatives, benefits the young people of this country. We have the parish chairperson in every parish. He sits on the committee, the 7-member committee. This person must be accountable to the youth of every parish. You must ensure that 30% of their 100 million goes to support activities of the young people.
What are the conditions of someone getting the parish development money? Or what does someone need to know to get that money?
Basically, the requirement, one must be a resident or working in a given parish. They must be people who are known, and the project is simply agriculture. It can be value addition. You can set up maybe a milling plant. For you, you can buy from farmers. and then mill, package, and then you are ready for the market. You can be engaged in, maybe you formulate a group, acquire land or hire land, or if you own land, get this money, buy good seeds, buy fertilizers, and maximize
Actually,
production.
that's what I wanted to ask you. If the focus is going to be on agriculture, what is in for the young person who cannot be able to afford to have land? They don't have land. But also, there are parishes that are not in the villages. We talk about here in town. Who is going to be able to get enough land to carry out agriculture here in town? Why is it that this money is basically going to be focused on agriculture, not other activities that young people can be involved in to be able to earn a living?
Now, thank you for bringing that, and I want to address this clearly. Agriculture, in this perspective, is not premised on only owning maybe 1 acre of land or 2 acres of land. Here we've seen, even where I live, I call on you to visit me when you find time. We do the backyard farming, mushroom growing. You don't need to have an acre. You don't need to even have a 50 by 50 plot of land for us who live in the city. So the young people who are in the city, you can also embrace this project. By one, you can engage in mushroom farming. You can engage in vegetable production. Right where you live, you can have these activities. The target should be, the concern should be, as leaders, we should be now very deliberate to ensure we identify these young people who live in urban centers and train them on how they can take advantage of the PDM money so that they are not left behind. Because now we also know as a fact that the majority of our young people have actually left the villages. They are now in urban centers. Some are engaged productively, some are still struggling. Those who are struggling, the onus is on us to ensure we train them in backyard farming, where you can comfortably grow mushrooms, vegetables. You can have your poultry within a small area. So there is still a lot we can do within this. Addressing the same, this is where we'll ask our speaker to actually allow debate on the PDM. The debate had initially started, but our good speaker guided that we go to the field, address the issue, get more information, then authoritatively debate with facts. I want to call upon government that going forward, there are our young people who are not engaged in farming, but they are very successful in other activities, like welding, like tailoring, so many other activities, bricklaying, carpentry and joining. When you drive along all the streets in Kampala, you find amazing young boys and girls engaged in welding, engaged in carpentry, and they are doing amazing works. So we want to call upon government. There is that money called Youth Capital Venture Fund, which was initially taken to banks. This money we want to ask, we want to request, we want to push that the government gets this money and puts back also at the parish level. Because it is now almost impossible for our average young person to get this money. You go to a bank, they will ask for security. A young person who is struggling to even get a meal for today, how do you ask them for security? How will they develop? So we want to push that government removes this money, the Capital Venture Fund, and also intervene in our parishes so that we have an all-inclusive consideration of the young people. You're a welder, you do that.
Amazing. We had the Emyoga program. I think it's still ongoing. I hope the challenges that were there are not the challenges the young people are going to face. One, I know a number of groups that went to access Emyoga funds and they were asked to first pay some money. I'm coming to you to give me money and at the same time you're asking me for money. Where do they think these young people are going to get money to pay for them to get the funds?
Thank you.
Is it the same thing that is going to happen for someone to access the parish development
No.
funds? And how are you going to ensure it doesn't happen?
The guideline is already very clear.
The guidelines have been there, even with
No,
the
no,
Myoga, but people-
for the PDM, there is no requirement for one to say we need this security or you must have this percentage. The Myoga program, you must have 30%. If a young person has a project and they have a budget of 3 million, the Myoga fund dictates that they must first have 1 million. This has failed most of our young people. A young person who's just starting, you're from the university, you're engaged in film production, photography, you have a budget of say 15 million. You've trained, you've acquired all the skills, you're ready to face the market. There's huge market. But now the Myoga will ask you for 5 million. You left the university, your father has sold all the land, all the property they had to educate you, and now you want to vend because you cannot afford, you cannot get a job.
Actually, some had the 30%, they paid it, but still never access to the funds.
Now that is the difference with the parish development model. Parish development model, you don't need to pay anything. You only need to be part of a group engaged in agriculture or farming. Then you present the registration details of your group. It is verified and money will be given. But we want to address this, that even our young people who labored to get the Myoga funds, but were failed even after paying the 30%. I want to declare that our offices are open. Let them come to our office in Parliament with those facts confirming that they have paid the 30%, but they have not been addressed, they have not been helped, they have not been given the money. I would want to be at the forefront of that fight because this is taxpayers' money. It is a government program to help the citizens of this country. As a serving member of parliament representing the young people, I want to declare that we are going to fight that. Let's have the conversation.
I know fighting alone might be a little bit so hard.
No, you expose.
Yeah,
you expose.
I want to understand how are you working together as youth MPs with the youth organizations, for example, the National Youth Council, to make sure that the approach and the advocacy you're going to do to make sure the young people benefit from the government programs succeeds? How is your working relation?
Let me give you a background that we are 5 youth members of parliament in this country, representing all the regions and 1 national female youth MP. Our election started from the village level and saw the election of the National Youth Council leaders. We have a structure right from every village where there are 9 member councils. These people were democratically elected by the respective youth voters of their areas, and so they have the mandate. We are going to use that same structure, which was put in by government, to ensure we communicate to the lowest person in their respective villages to give us report that what is happening in your parish. And we shall ensure, we shall expose where our young people have not been helped. We shall want to know the reason why in a given parish, this group of young people have not benefited from the budget which we've passed as parliament, from a project that government has brought as a vehicle to jumpstart the economy of the country, which country has 75% of the young people whom we represent. You are the majority, we are the majority, we have the number, we have the structures, and the structures are very much connected.
Bernard, thank you so much. Lastly, speak to our youth out there, back in the village, back in eastern Uganda, down in Kisoro. What should they do to be able to benefit from the parish development model as we conclude?
Well, in my conclusion, I want to urge all the young people of this country, eastern Uganda, northern, western, central, the country at large, that let us not lose hope. You gave us the mandate. We have done our part. We have pushed and secured 30% from the 100 millions in every parish. That money we cannot control because it is coming to your parish. Let us control this money together. I urge you that embrace the projects that this money is mandated to finance so that you benefit from them. I also want to urge that in our 4 years remaining in Parliament, we are going to push government for more projects. We want even the young people who are not engaged in agriculture to also benefit. As we address this, there is a huge issue of climate change. I want to address this, that young people, we are the majority. We shall live longer in this country if we address the issue of climate change. I encourage you to be the elder brother, the elder sister to the environment. Let's protect the environment. Let's love our country. Let's benefit from this. We are not politicking. Election ended. Let us embrace the taxpayers' money that has been apportioned to serve you and me at our parishes. Hold the parish chiefs accountable in incidences where they are not of help. We are going to ensure extension workers are within your reach to support your various activities for God and my country.
Thank you so much, Bernard. Bernard Odoi is the youth MP for Eastern Uganda, and he's been helping us to understand what the parish development model is all about, but also how, as a young person, you can benefit from this program. I do believe if you come together as young people, create the groups that are needed at your parish level, you'll be able to hold the parish chiefs accountable and make sure the 30% that is coming to you as young people really does the great work as it has been determined by these youth, youth member of parliament that advocated for us, the youth, to be able to get the 30%. Make sure you supervise, you follow up, and make sure that your groups get benefit from this program. I thank you so much for watching this show. My name is Ivan Tumukunde. I believe your lives will be transformed when you as young people work together, come together to transform this nation. Follow me on all my socials at I_Tumukunde on Twitter, I_Tumukunde on Facebook, and I_Tumukunde on Instagram. Nataka kuambia vijana wote kama umoja ni nguvu. Tufanye kazi pamoja, tuungane, tufanye kazi kwa maendeleo mema wa Afrika Mashariki. Asanteni kwa kutazama Youth of Purpose. Anasema kwa heri, jina langu Ivan Tumukunde. Mungu awabarikie.
Youth of Purpose.